Let's create our first items for our mod. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. Stay tuned to the end of the video because here we will add our first three items. Now, if you ever noticed, most of the time in Minecraft, you have items that has no functionality at all. They are there as intermediate steps for different things. For example, string. A string by itself has no functionality, but you use it inside crafting mechanics. Of course, for tripwire hooks, you can use a string, but you get the gist. Most of the time, when you are developing your mod, you are adding tons of these items. And for time being, I'm adding three of these items here. And I will add the textures first, and you will see that I named them specially gem underline, citrine, ruby, and sapphire. Okay, so this is citrine, this is ruby, this is sapphire. Where you can find some textures like these, well, citrine is from web, ruby came from web, sapphire came from web. So basically, just Google something, and most of the time you can find art that is not being used in any special mod and is free to use for your own mod. So today we will add these three, and then we will go on and add more items. Now, these three are not in any of the mods like Ender.io or MI or stuff like that. But I prefer to have these three because instead of using different ingots, I can use these gems, okay, in my recipes, for example. So how can I add them? If we go into reference, we have mod items, remember? And we said that in mod items, we can add items as we want. Here we will add as public static final item from net Minecraft item. We call it something. For example, gem underline citrine equals to, and we will call this register item method. The name that we give into the item is following the rules of your mod ID, means lowercase and no spaces. So gem underline citrine. Okay. After that, we need to give a new item to this call. Now here we say new item, and the constructor for item now asks for settings. So we can say new fabric item settings. And fabric item settings can be used just like that. Or if we want to tweak some settings after the construction call, we can say dot, and we can choose, for example, max count, max damage, or max damage if absent. For example, if you want to change the stacking count, you can call this max count, for example, 16 or 8. I'm not going to do that. So right now, we added citrine to the game. However, this citrine has no creative tab, it has no textures assigned to it, and has no model. So inside our language pack, we need to change the language, and I will call it item dot mod ID here is UIO dot gem underline citrine. Putting a colon, and now you give it the actual name that you want to see inside the game. So that's the translation for you. If you don't do it in the game, you will see this item.modid.something. And now we go into the data gem inside model provider. And remember, we had this generate item models. Here we want to generate the model for the item. Now we say item model generator dot register. We want to register something. What we want to register is mod items dot gem citrine, comma, models dot generated. Okay. If you take a look, we have generated 2 layers, 3 layers, a handheld, and different things like that. But generated is a generic item for any mod. If we run the data gen right now, we should get a JSON being added into our hierarchy under generated section. Let's see it in action. So it took few seconds to build the project. Now it's generating the data. I don't see my data gen being called anywhere. See the notes? I'm seeing these initialized messages, but not the data gen messages because I totally forgot to import the data gen class from my template. So let's copy the content of data gen class from my temp mod over here. And let's import the static for that. And what are you yelling at here? You should be okay now. Import static, okay? And then these things are not being there, mod block tag provider, because the data gen actually, yeah, it's there. The packages are not being imported. For some reason, it's not finding the packages for me to import, and it's a long existing problem. But now my datagen class is now functional, so I just need to regenerate the datagen. And now you see why we have these loggings, because I noticed that, hey, I'm not generating any data for myself there. So let's see it in action and generate it. There we go, generating the data. Here we go with data, Minecraft, items, and some JSON files there. I don't care. The assets model, gem, citrin. This is the critical one. Of course, we could have made this JSON and put it inside our own assets folder, but that's the whole point. We have generated this data gen back in the first videos so that from now on, we don't have anything to do with that. However, what's this? ZXC underline tutorial. Why do I get that? I don't want that. Here, you see that the logger is saying this. And if we go and somehow find this mod ID, there we go. I forgot to take it out of there and put it inside here. So that's something that I need to fix under my temp mod too. Oh, no. I know what's going on. Oh, my reformatting is moving it around. So file, because the moment I save the file, it jumps up. Anyway, that's the whole point. It's there. So it becomes UIO. And what else did I found that is using here? Get logger, UIO. Or actually, it's better to use mod ID here. And let's make this guy public static final so that it will jump all the way up here. Yeah, this way it's not moving around. So that's it. Now I can get away from the formatter. So that's why, and the logger should use actually the mod ID. So these two needs to be fixed under the template mod at the same time. But that's it basically. So if I open my template mod around, and I'm doing it on the second monitor, so these two, actually this guy needs to be replaced and the mod ID needs to be out of that region, because when I have it inside the region, it means that I won't see it when I'm copy pasting, and that's something that I need to change. So now we don't have this ZXC tutorial, but we have UIO now with the proper tags and everything. So that's that. And now here, yeah, UIO, blah, blah, blah. So basically, what we've done is just putting the textures, creating the item, giving the model, giving the name in the JSON, and then generating the data. We get the JSON for the model. And now we should be able to run the game and somehow see our citrin, isn't it? No, I stopped the game because we didn't add citrin to any item group or creative tab, in other words. So what should we do is to open the mod item groups. And here we need to create an item group and use it. So how do we do that? We say public static final, and we call, if we want an item group, we call it, I don't know, UIO underline. Actually, we don't need UIO. We call it ingredients equals to registry dot register, registry, and actually I think I called the wrong one. Yeah, we want the net Minecraft one. Dot register. We want the registries dot item group, comma. Now we want to have an identifier. So remember in reference, we have this identifier method. We call it identifier dot, and we just add the name. So the name will be mod ID plus group or ingredient group. Mod ID underline ingredient underline group. So that's it. And yes, I see that I'm not importing anything there. So reference dot, and then I can say reference dot identifier. Yeah, like that. And then I can say, hey, import the static constant, import static reference. I want what? Nah, remove that. There we go. Import static. So I had a very bad, let me see, net fabric. None of them are the thing that I want. Because I don't have I underline. Okay, there we go. So after the identifier, we want to say fabric item group dot builder. Why are you yelling at me? Fabric, oh, sorry, I chose the interface. The builder dot display name, and we want a name. Again, we have this translate here. So we say translate, and yes, import the static method for me, static reference. And this will cause the mod ID dot the key. Now the key I want is just saying that, okay? So that will translate to mod ID dot ingredient dot group. Going two parentheses out, we say dot icon. Now we want to give an icon into the tab shape. So we use an anonymous consumer new item stack from mod items, because we have only one item, and that's gem citrine for time being. Two parentheses out, dot entries, and here we start typing. I think as soon as we start typing display context and entries, it is being found as the only option. Okay, and put curly braces, enter, and semicolon. But before the semicolon, we want to call dot build. And let me see. Yeah, we need another parenthesis here. So that's it. Basically, this is the boilerplate for every item group that you will have in future. Okay. However, each time you will change the identifier, the translatable, and the icon, of course. And this is the boilerplate for you. So it's a lot of typing. I will copy it. I will move it into my template, but I will comment it. Okay. So I will use this /star forward slash. So it's commented right now. I will copy this. I will move it into my references, mod item groups of my template, and I will paste it on top as a commented section there, so that from now on, I don't have any problems using these. Okay. So I just need to import the statics, and that's it. So every now and then, you will see these sort of commented sections, and that's just what you think. You uncomment, you tweak stuff, and you have fun with it. Okay, so how can we use it? You just say entries dot add something, and here is mod items dot gem citrine, and that's it. Now our gem citrine is being added to this ingredients item group. And I'm thinking about if I can move these 1, 2 back, because that will make my life tons easier to read them. And again, this shouldn't be possible because basically we are, let me see. Okay, it's possible. Yeah. It's formatted again. Oh God. Okay. Okay. It's being reformatted every time I save the file because I set it so. So here it says ingredient is not being used. That's okay. And it's a warning here. Okay. However, if I want to see more actions, I can select that and say, how can I get rid of this? Here we go. Disable inspection. So it means that don't yell at me if this ingredient is being not used, because we know that in our modding experience, we will have tons of these. Okay, so now let's run the game, and hopefully we should have a citrine gem inside a creative tab on any creative game. So I will copy this line and wait for Minecraft to come up. Here we go. We create a single word now, and its creative difficulty, I will use peaceful, word type super flat, customize, presets. Here I will paste that my preset I had. Done. Go to game rules, and here we change few things like, let me see on top. Respawn immediately, keep inventory after death, disable update time of day, and disable update weather. So it will not rain and the time will be constant. And that's basically allowing cheats is on. So I can use commands, and let's create the word and run the game the very first time. uio.ingredient.group. And here I have a citrine gem. I can keep it in hand. And as you see, it's an item, citrine gem. And two things that I need to add, uio.ingredient group, uio. Yeah, one, okay? So that's a language thing. We go into assets, uio lang, and before anything else, it was uio dot, and if you notice, it's this, item ingredient dot group and ingredients. That's all I want. So it should now be fixed. Get used to this fact that you will come back, change something, and reload the game. I could have not stopped the game. I could have come to the JSON file, take it, and rerun the game. But the process of loading the game is the same. So get used to this. It says ingredients now, ingredients. So that's being fixed. Now we have citrine gem. Okay, how we can add the next item is actually very easy. We just need to do the things in the way you see it. We create another item. So I will create two. We will add the translations and we will add the models. So this is models and then the item group. So we will add it into item group. So the first one will be gem ruby, and this will be gem ruby, gem sapphire, gem underline sapphire. And if you take a look at the textures, you will see that I'm using the same name, gem underline sapphire, here and here. That's critical. So this will be gem underline ruby, same name that we used right now. This section is custom one, so ruby underline gem sapphire. Whenever you do duplication of a line or you use copy paste, be very careful. Read your code line by line to see what you're doing, because sometimes you need to move and change more than one thing. And I noticed that I had a typo, citrine. No, I don't have a typo, citrine. So why are you yelling at me here? Oh, it's not inside the dictionary. So just save the dictionary and get done with it. Okay, so what did I do? Create the items, add to translation, add to the model to the data gen, and add to the creative tab, run the data gen. Bingo, you have the second and the third item in the game. As easy as that. As you see, two more JSONs being added to the generated. This is calling for gem underline ruby on the layer 0 for the texture. This is gem sapphire. That's okay. That's correct one. And now if we just run the client, you will see that we have two more items inside the game. Now remember, the order that you add things inside the item group is the order that you see them inside game. So if I would like to see the Ruby first, I would add Ruby first. And I noticed that I used lowercase on Ruby, but I will fix it the moment I come back out of the game. And that's an easy renaming thing. There we go. Ruby gem, Sapphire gem, just like that is being added to the game. So from now on, between the two episodes, I may put some time and effort into adding more items like the ingots that I need for the items, some different things that are just simple items. But at least one video, I will talk about how I changed the art in Photoshop for the ingots, because that's something that I want to tackle and do. Okay, just fix this naming, and it is capital letters, and it will be fixed on everywhere. So if you have this mod on, actually your mod on GitHub, it's a very good time to just put a commit there. I think I didn't add it to the GitHub yet. Yes, share project on GitHub. I will do it, and I will say Ultra IO, a mod that uses some concepts from Ender IO and modern industrialization, but much more close to vanilla concepts. Well, that's it. So share, and now fail to create GitHub repository because it says the ownership is different. If you look, it gives me a git command. Now, why did this happen? If you ever see this error, it means that your temp mod was using a Git source, okay? It was connected to GitHub, and for some reason, or maybe this repository was connected to GitHub, and for some reason you changed, for example, your Windows operating system. That happened for me. The ownership is changed. Now it says just run this git command and get your own ownership back. So right click, git bash here, shift insert, enter. That's it. So now you have the ownership of this git. So git commit, because now we have the, actually, I think commits are there because I don't see, yeah, there we go, unsafe, okay? So we have all of these files from some PNGs, the mixin, some classes, and I don't see my generated ones. Let's see, B, E, F, G, here we go. Gem Citrin, Gem Ruby. So just check this mark, and now we can say first initial commit added gem citrin, added gem ruby, added gem sapphire, and I will call them items so that I know that, hey, I just added the items there. So commit and push, or you can just choose commit if you want, and it will reformat my code because I set it to reformat my code and clean up my code. And then it comes to the push window. It says no commits selected. So I don't see any commits. And it says synchronizing file. So I will do this. It is committed. Now, where can I see this commit and give it a push? I can come here and say push. But again, no commits are there. Let me see. Going to my GitHub account, going into my repositories, I see UIO, and it has nothing in it. So somehow the commit is not being done. So where is my commit? Okay. Take note that in here, we have the git, and this is my commit, okay? Why isn't it working? Define remote, and the URL, this is a private, that's okay. This is the URL, copy, paste, okay. It couldn't find the master there. Now it says origin to master. Okay, now it's working. Interesting to see these errors because this was the very first time I saw that error. But basically, if you don't see the master or any branch, it means that something happened. And well, in our case, the ownership was the issue, so it didn't create the master for us. But now it is doing it. It found our commit. And if we want to make a new branch, actually, we can change this master here. So just click on it, change it. But for example, if you want to work on a new version of Minecraft before merging the branches, so that's it. Just hit push. It should upload everything into our GitHub. And if I reload this page now, page not found, UIO. There we go. Now we have source, Gradle, and in source main, we have generated UIO and resources. So everything is just there. Okay. Of course, we don't have any README for it. I don't care. It's my own private repository. Remember, whenever you want to publish this mod on the internet, for example, in Modrin, it's better to change this repo to public. And actually, it's a good practice to make your repository public because then you will have the ability to get help from the community. So how can we change a private repository to public? You go into settings and under the danger zone, you see change repository visibility. You just click change to public. I agree. Alternatively, you could delete the repository and again bind your project to GitHub. And that's our very first item. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun, everyone. Bye.